Hi, boys and girls. As you know, we've been working on creating our seed stories for our narrative essays so that we can be writing a powerful essay later down the line. So today we're going to talk about using other writers as inspiration. Our goal for today is I can use another writer's words to inspire me so that I can write a powerful story of my own. I will know I'm successful when I'm able to transport my reader into my memories through my writing. So we know that that end part is the same. We know that our goal is to be able to get our readers to feel like they're a part of our memories, that they were there in that story with us. So today we're going to be thinking about what other writers have written to help us come up with our own ideas. So far we've talked about people and places that gave us strong memories. We've talked about first times, last times, times we realized something that gave us strong memories. We even talked about some small moments. So today we're going to be thinking about how can we be inspired by other people to come up with some new ideas. Today I want to teach you that writers read great stories in order to write great stories. One author's stories or ideas can often spark new ideas for a reader. So what I mean by that is the more reading that you do yourself, the better of a writer you are going to be, because you're getting new ideas and you're getting new strategies that you can use from somebody else, and they're going to help you be more creative. So here's the mentor text that we're going to be focusing on today. As I read, I'm going to be thinking about what kinds of memories it makes me think of that I might be able to write about myself. So trying to make connections with the text. I know that that's something that you've all worked on before. So I want you to think about how can you make a connection with what this author is talking about. So as I'm reading, I'm going to be thinking about that. I want you to be thinking about that as well. It started maybe 2 years ago when Grandma and I were eating breakfast a few weeks before my 10th birthday. Suddenly, Grandma slapped her hands together. "That's it," she said. "It's time to decide." Everyone had to make the decision when they turned 10. If you wanted to be a lever, you had to start training within a week of your birthday. Practice took at least 2 hours a day for a whole year. Then the skill became permanent. If you slacked off, you lost the ability. That was it. Grandma stared at me. "It's hard work," she said. "If you give up, it'll be a waste of my time as well as yours." Living had been a much bigger deal back when she was young. Most kids today thought it was pretty pointless. With so much done by computers and machines, it was a dying art. My older brother Kai never learned how to lev. Most of my friends weren't planning on it. I took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about this forever," I said. "I want to be able to lev like you." She narrowed her eyes. I started to squirm. "I won't let you down," I promised. And at that moment, I really meant it. So before I go on and tell you about my connections, I want you to stop and think to yourself, what kinds of connections could you have to the narrator? Would you have to the author? What kinds of things can you think about? So I'm noticing that the narrator is talking about her 10th birthday. So maybe you can think about a memory of your 10th birthday, or maybe it was your 11th birthday, or maybe it was even your 5th birthday, and think about some birthday that you've had that you either did something exciting or you had to make an important choice about something. Another thing that I'm noticing is that the narrator did have to make a really important choice that could have affected the whole rest of their life. So maybe there's something that you've had to make a decision about, maybe a sport, playing an instrument, or something like that that you can connect with the narrator as well. All right, so here are some of the connections that I was able to make. As I read this section of the story, it made me think of when I was 10 years old, like the narrator, and I made the decision to start playing the clarinet. I knew it would be a lot of work and a huge commitment, just like the narrator, but it was something that I really wanted to do. I think that some of you who maybe do play an instrument might have that similar connection as well. So think about maybe, like I said, maybe you had a sport that you made a decision about, or maybe you made the choice to not do something, or any other connections that you might have as well. So here's my quick write based on that connection. One day in 4th grade, the band teacher came and talked to all of our classes. She showed us what all the instruments looked like and even played them for us. My brother had been playing the trumpet for a while, and I went to most of his concerts, so I wasn't exactly new to band. But I was so excited to finally get to choose an instrument. I went home that day and told my parents all about what we learned in class. Then I dropped the bomb on them. I wanted to play the clarinet. My dad, who also played in band until college, was ready to sign me up right away. He was so proud that his daughter wanted to play an instrument. My mom wanted to be more sure about it, though. So there's my quick write based on the connection that I chose from this story. So now it's your turn. Okay, I'm going to reread this passage, and I want you to be focusing even harder on what kinds of connections can you make with the narrator. So as we reread this passage, think about what connections you can make with the author. If you have some connections in your own book or something else that you've read recently, that works too. But I want you to be focusing on making a connection with another author and trying to come up with some ideas based on other writers. So be ready to do some of your own writing today too. So one more time, we're going to read through this passage, and you can pause the video if you want to so you can get a closer look at it. But I do want you to be thinking about what kinds of connections can you make either with this passage or something from your own book that you've been reading. It had started maybe 2 years ago when Grandma and I were eating breakfast a few weeks before my 10th birthday. Suddenly, Grandma slapped her hands together. "That's it," she said. "It's time to decide." Everyone had to make the decision when they turned 10. If you wanted to be a lover, you had to start training within a week of your birthday. Practice took at least 2 hours a day for a whole year. Then the skill became permanent. If you slacked off, you lost the ability. That was it. Grandma stared at me. "It's hard work," she said. "If you give up, it'll be a waste of my time as well as yours." Loving had been a much bigger deal back when she was young. Most kids today thought it was pretty pointless. With so much done by computers and machines, it was a dying art. My older brother Kai never learned how to love. Most of my friends weren't planning on it. I took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about this forever," I said. "I want to be able to love like you." She narrowed her eyes. I started to squirm. "I won't let you down," I promised. And at that moment, I really meant it. So at this point, I want you to be thinking about what kind of brainstorming can you do as far as making connections with this author or narrator, or go back to your own book and try to find some connections that you can make from there as well. So I want you to open up your notebook and start doing your brainstorming. At the top of the page, you're going to write writers as inspiration. So go ahead and do that up at the top. You're putting writers as inspiration. And then I want you to start brainstorming. You will have some time today to share with the other people, just like we've been doing all the other days with our seeds ideas. So you will have a chance to share your brainstorming and hopefully get some other ideas from your classmates. And then we'll be doing a quick write as well. So you need to make sure that you're prepared to come up with some ideas. Okay, good luck. Happy writing.